Broads Media.
I say this at the start of the pod, but I'm going to say it again. I am literally obsessed with waiting for a Woj bomb, hearing from him about Paul George. So my mind is there, not here. Welcome on into the channel, though. If you are new, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate all your support. You could take Sports Talk with Broads on the road with you, Bluetooth in your truck. It sounds like a sexy drive to me. All you got to do is go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all your podcasting platforms, search Sports Talk with Broads. If you leave a 5-star rating and a review, that will go so far in the algorithm, so thank you so much there. And lastly, Coffee with Broads is back twice a week, and the way you get access is by joining the memberships here on YouTube. You also get access to our Discord channel, a 24/7 chat. I keep you updated on those stream times, and we communicate during the draft, during the games. It's a lot of fun. All the information is down below. Thank you guys so much for all the crazy and wild love, and enjoy the show. What I witnessed was straight garbage. Splitting with Miami is a joke. Now, here's why the Phillies are lucky. I'm thinking about one thing and one thing only, and that's Paul George being announced as a Philadelphia 76er. I'm waiting for the Woj bomb. So they're going to escape more criticism, and they're going to escape a rage pod because I'm just not too worried about it currently. I'm not happy, though. Let it be known. I wanted to vomit a ton this series. How many errors happened Sunday? You're just lucky that Tim Anderson blows. My God, just hit it at his direction, and he'll bobble it, he'll fumble it, he won't even get to it, and it'll go into the outfield. Stinks. To the Phillies' credit, though, you have to make the most of those opportunities. And in the 7th inning, they were walked a ton, and Trey Turner helps take the lead 7-6. Your bullpen shuts it down. Soto in the 8th, Hoffman in the 9th. And I want to give Soto the love that he deserves for the most current stretch that he's on. I'm not telling you it's going to continue forever. I'm not telling you that he's going to go perfect the rest of the way. There will be a time where we get the bad Gregory Soto, and it might happen soon. But I'm just giving you the facts. Courtesy of Jack Fritz, Gregory Soto hasn't allowed an earned run in his last 8 appearances and has only allowed 3 hits throughout that time. Now, I see some comments about how, well, that doesn't tell the full story. Remember Brad Hand, his ERA, he inherits people, this and that. Listen, I'm just telling you that right now we are riding a mini wave of Gregory Soto being a responsible arm. Take it for what it is. I know the longevity of it is probably short-lived. That's why you appreciate the mini run when you get the mini run. Okay? That's just the way that I view it. Good for Trey on his birthday to be a baller. Good for Nick to hit 4 hits. To have a few runs batted in. Should have had a homer. Missed it by an inch. But on a day where Ranger Suarez didn't have it, I wondered, could they win without great starting pitching? If Christopher Sanchez throws a complete game shutty, guess what? You're rid of the game. You're rid of the game. You're rid of the game. So I know they could win if they have the dog on the bump. Can they win if they have the kitten? And Ranger, unfortunately, got beat up pretty good on Sunday afternoon. He was the kitten. Sorry. I hate to say it, but it was rough. Now, I saw a stat about the Marlins' record versus lefties prior to Ranger start, and I figured either they're due. They had something like 3 or 4 wins total as a team this season when there was a lefty on the bump. And remember what Sanchez just did to him. Pantsed them every single inning. Obliterated them. It was so electric, by the way. Him screaming at the top of his lungs. That guy has been unreal since signing his extension. You'd think that puts pressure on someone. Instead, Sanchez says, that's cute. I don't fucking know what pressure is. And for the first time in my life, full transparency, I always walked into every Christopher Sanchez start just thinking, this is awesome that we get to trot him out there every fourth day. I took it almost without realizing how impressive it's been. Took it for granted. That's it. That's the word I was searching for. Took it for granted that we could just throw Sanchez in there. Ho-hum, another perfect day, clocking in, clocking out. For the first time, I wondered, is he a star? No, of course, he's pitching like a star. It's a different thing. I'm asking, is he a star? Are we getting, at age 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, a Zach Wheeler type? Now, different mold, different style of pitching. But that level of ew? Are we getting a 4-year run of straight, oh my God, this guy is so elite? Or is it more of just, maybe this is the year we get, you know what I'm saying? I never really thought about it. I was just watching it. I never went to the second level with it until I saw the complete game shutty. And now I'm wondering if I'm raising the bar to, wow, it's great that you have 4 starters this smooth in your staff, to, whoa. Now, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. Maybe that just sounded like the dumbest segment of any show that you've ever listened to. Which means you probably haven't listened to any other of my content because I'm sure there was something dumber. But I digress. There was something where my mind was taking me prior to that little side topic I threw in there. And there's no way I'm going to find it. So, we'll go here. Rough for Matt Strahm. Rough. So let's get to Aaron Nola's start. This was Saturday night. He was cruising. He gets to the 7th, a couple of doubles occur. And the criticism instantly was Rob Thompson needed to pull Nola after the first double. Now, to be fair to Rob Thompson, if you're pitching as well as Nola is, and there's a double, that's not panic time. And do not say that everybody knows the second Aaron Nola gives up a hit, then it's all over, or it was so obvious to the whole world that he was ready to blow up. I don't think that's true. I think Aaron Nola didn't execute as well as he would have liked to in that 7th. And seeing damage be done with 2 outs is always causing me trauma. But he did the right thing keeping him in. And you know what else backs that up? Because for whatever reason, Matt Strahm didn't do well. So Matt Strahm did not go on the mound after Aaron Nola and shove where the easy decision was to pull Aaron Nola. The guy that you put in instead of him after the 2 doubles did just as bad as Aaron Nola. Matt Strahm's been in a little bit of a rougher window right now. He took the ball after Zach Wheeler on Thursday. Don't even get me started with that Thursday game. That was the night that we got the news on Bryce and we got the news on Kyle. I thought it was going to be way worse than the information we were given later. So thank you, baseball gods. But it's not all positive yet. I'm sorry, I'm not buying everything from the Bryce Harper department until I actually see him on the field. And I'm afraid that they are going to push him out there right before the MLB All-Star break so he could play in the All-Star game because he obviously really wants to play in the All-Star game. So they might push him sooner rather than be smart and allow the All-Star break to give him some extra time to sit down on the couch, make sure that his hamstring's good. He's going to want to be out there. So I hope that the Phillies do the right thing and do what's best for the team and the interest here of the fans in the city and try and lock him indoors. All right, I'm taking handcuffs and I'm handcuffing him to his kitchen. You ain't leaving. I'll give him a bucket. Dude doesn't even get a bathroom. Bucket, kitchen. You hungry? Walk to the fridge. That's it. Toilet paper. Maybe use a napkin. This is your punishment for trying to get out there too quickly. Too quickly. Matt Strom's been a little bit rougher. But I don't knock Rob Thompson at all for giving Aaron Nola a chance after allowing a double to continue to pitch with how he was pitching in that game. Just missed some spots. That's all. And it sucks. But what also sucks is when you have a billion guys in scoring position and you fail. Or if your only offense is Garrett Stubbs. Garrett Stubbs hitting a home run and then maybe a sac fly here and there, Alec Boehm or Bryson Stott, that's not going to cut it. So when your top hitters, forget Aaron Nola. The blame does not deserve to go on Aaron Nola when he pitches into the seventh as dominant as he was. Here's the issue. On that particular night, Saturday night, you were 1 for 14 with your 2 through 5 hitters. Trey Turner, Brandon Marsh, Nick Castellanos. That's it right there. Your meat and potatoes of the lineup. Right now, you are going through a pretty rough lineup on a day-to-day basis. The 6th hitter, your 7th hitter, 8th hitter, 9th hitter is some combination of Whit Merrifield, of David Dahl, of Garrett Stubbs, of Johan Rojas. What do you expect? Those guys aren't consistent enough for timely hits. So what does that mean? Yo, Trey, you got to do it. Yo, Nick, you have to lead. And when I was trying to salvage the Nick Castellanos experience, it was all about him not having a major role and him hitting 7th or so. I mean, that's what I wanted not too long ago, maybe a week or two ago, when trying to figure out, do I believe in Nick? Do I not believe in Nick? Well, in the Baltimore series, he went over, and I don't think that that's best for him. And my point is, that's how you salvage the Nick Castellanos big picture approach. But for the right now, you get paid the big bucks. The cash is hitting your bank account. John Middleton's writing you a fat, juicy check every single fucking week. It is now time for you to step up and just give us that surge, give us that power, give us that run production just until Kyle and Bryce Harper return. Then you can go back to we have to salvage Nick Castellanos mode. But for now, please be there. Please have the answer for this club. And they did Sunday afternoon, him and Trey. They did not on Saturday when Aaron Nola pitched. Aaron Nola pitched significantly better than Ranger Suarez by 5 billion. And you win the game Ranger pitched. You lose the game Nola pitched. You lose the game Wheeler pitched. You lost Wheeler and Nola. You won Sanchez and Ranger, even though Ranger didn't have a big hand in it. So Kyle is trending to be back as soon as the 10-day IL stint is up. So if that shows you the disparity between maybe where Schwarber is and where Bryce is and the seriousness of it, there's that. Cubs, Atlanta, the Dodgers. Be prepared. Be prepared for the sloppy. The problem is, I am aware of it. But watching it doesn't make it any easier. Seeing bases loaded, no outs, maybe only scoring 1 run. It's sickening. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Right now, you got a bunch of nobodies batting 6, 7, 8, 9. It's similar to March Madness. Survive in advance. You can pull one game out of your ass and win 7-6 when Tim Anderson ruins it for his team. And then the next day, win 10-1 or win 6-2 or win 5-1 in convincing fashion. Just like in the NCAA tournament. Round 68 or round of 64 after the first 4 games, whatever it's labeled, you could win by 2 points. And then the next round of 32, blow out a team by 20. Survive in advance. That's the name of the game while you're missing so many key figures. And I watched the Braves lose today to the Pirates, which is good, although they won the series and took 2 out of 3. But right now, you have to celebrate all of the Braves' losses, no matter what that series was, because quite frankly, they could have swept the Pirates and took all 3. And when you lose a game 1-0, the Chicago White Sox, like Atlanta did, you have to celebrate those mini victories, because every loss around the way here, while you're picking up a win, is a massive W for the Phillies in the standings. And this is where I'm somewhat conflicted. I was so happy and proud of this team for building a big lead, because the nature of the long season will take its course and it'll play out the way that it's supposed to. The result, if you told me prior to the season beginning on how the NL East will shake out, I probably first would have told you the Braves would win the division, because I've never seen the Phillies start out as massively as they did after the first Atlanta and the second Cincinnati series. So I probably would have said Atlanta would win it, but I would give the Phillies a ton of credit for maybe making them earn it. Instead of a 14-game lead, it maybe is a 2 or 3-game lead. It comes down to the final series or something, and, maybe you could win 2 out of 3 and they have to win 1 out of their final 3. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Where it's a close race. It's coming down the wire. You do the math. You see what needs to be done. How can you edge them out? That type of ordeal. Well, is it fair, if that was our initial thought on how it would play out, to understand, regardless on how we get there, regardless on the path it takes, there is a collision course by the end of it. It'll probably be that result. Does that make sense? So regardless on if they're up 30 games at some point in the regular season, which is just stupid to say, but I'm trying to show you just the thought here. If they're up 30 games, by the end of this thing, it'll be a two-game battle to the end. If they were up 5, and it's the middle of July, it'll be coming down to the final 2 games. If it is a 12-game cushion for the Phillies, it'll come down to 2 by the end. No matter what. No matter what. So just recognize that. They're just as injured. If not, maybe even worse, when Spencer Strider misses a year, when Acuna Jr. misses a year. And look at Dave for a second. I know you got to work the magic and work the timeline and do what's best for your team to not overpay and make a rash decision. But remember when the Atlanta Braves were very desperate and they saw things happening? They went out and landed $1 billion outfielders. Are we in a similar position? I'm just asking the question. I trust Dave Dombrowski with my life. Is there something to that, though, on how the Braves handled it previously? The Bryce and Kyle thing, maybe not as bad as we thought at the initial time. Maybe that plays it out in a way that gives Dave Dombrowski more time, and probably does. I don't remember every single injury the Atlanta Braves had that season, but it was enough for their president of baseball ops to make a serious change and bring in a ton of different men. Don't think we're at their level, but they're dealing with it. So right now, you got to figure it out. So it's not going to be as appealing and as fun and as enjoyable. It might get rough. And that's why I was as angry as I was on Thursday, because that pop factor, it's fizzling. All right? The balloon, it got popped. I don't have that same energy watching Pache and Rojas. I don't. I'll give a ton of credit in the world to Rojas, though. What he has done since returning back from AAA, and he tore the cover off the ball down with the Iron Pig, so he did go there and not lower his shoulder, lower his head, and mope around. He had the response to get rewarded with another chance, so credit to him. But he made an impact with his speed. He was stealing bases, and he was running around, and he was causing havoc on the base paths, and he generated some really solid run production on his own in multiple different games, and that's what's great about him. Let's not act for the Johan Rojas lovers that are surprised he got sent down like he was doing that every game prior to him doing that. No, it took him to have to go down and get his ass sent down to the minors for him to have that response. If he did that every game, I will stop barking. I'd stop. I'd just shut up. I'd stop ever bitching that he was playing. But we didn't get that consistently. He can do it for sure. But being able to do it and then doing it at a high clip enough to make it worth it is two different things. It's not ludicrous for the Phillies to send him down and all that because nobody was winning the job. Nobody was a clear-cut decision that they earned and deserved that spot. Pache, Rojas, I guess Brandon Marsh at all of them for me. But I'm talking more of the lesser crew. All right. Let's run to the phone lines. That's how we do things around here at this time of the program. Let's do it.
Hey, bro. First-time caller here. Very excited the Phils managed to just pull that game off, considering you had 5 errors. And, again, it's the Marlins, so there's always some wacky crap that happens with them. Phils finished June 15-11. I'm a bit concerned on how they've been playing on the road of recent, and I hope that they can fix that. I'm hoping they could, do that in July or August, as we get closer to the postseason. But, being 8 games up in the NL East, I hope that they can manage to play 500 ball going into the summer months and, getting Bryce, Kyle, as well as JT back. That'd be awesome. So, I know not a lot there, but I think it's interesting to see how this team has been playing pretty scrappy over the past couple of weeks. So hopefully they can do better. Thanks.
Well, I appreciate the call. Thank you as a first-time caller. Scrappy's a good way to describe it, I think, right? Just scrappy. It could be a Stubbs play. It could be a Marchand bunt. I don't give a damn how you do it. Just do it. That's the name of the game. That Braves series is going to be massive. If you go into Atlanta and get swept and then you have to answer that series after clearly the Braves would be making a push in the standings at that particular time and face the Dodgers, it could get sloppy, and it's very possible that happens just based off of you being so beat up and you being so hurt. You can only do so much. You can only do so much. So it's a big series in Chicago. I don't even want to overlook the Chicago series because, as you alluded to, they haven't been good on the road. That's why you got to win as many series as you possibly can at home, because that is a strong suit, especially after a piss-poor Marlins team comes to your city, and they suck, and I mean suck, against lefties. And with Ranger going, I want to give Bohm some credit as we work through some of these men in the series. When you're down 1-0 in the bottom of the first inning, Sunday afternoon, here's Bomer with a 2-run shot to stop the bleeding, the early bleeding. It wasn't enough. They overcame it, though. They fought back. But boom, that was a big one. I appreciated that one. Let's go to Sean.
Well, looking at the entire series as a whole, other than Christopher Sanchez's performance the other night, Not really one you want to hang your hat on if you're going to fight the Phils, but at least they salvaged it today. Tip of the cap to the bullpen, because when you play as shoddy of a defensive game as they did, when you don't get the starting pitching, when you're hitting once again with guys in scoring position is pretty much non-existent. Luckily, the bullpen kept them in it and they stole it. Again, now you go on the road, you go to Wrigley Field, you're pitching Mercado, I believe, Tuesday night, so all bets are off. Still think he's going to be better than Taijuan Walker, but you really don't know what to expect there. You know, I don't think they're going to kick the ball around for 5 errors like they did today, but it's still the offense that scares me, even at Wrigley Field. You're just going to have to get solid, if not spectacular pitching to have a chance to win some games here and there until your stars come back. But I just don't trust this offense right now. They survived today. Thank you, Pittsburgh, for the win against Atlanta. But got to hit better with guys in scoring position.
I can't argue with you if you do feel down and feel sour about the current state of the lineup. The reason why you don't have a ton of confidence in it is because half of it is utility men. Half of it is guys that are fighting for their lives. And then, there's the backup catcher in there. So you got guys like Rojas and Pache that are fighting for their Major League Baseball career. You have backup catchers in there. All due respect to them, but they are what they are. And then you have utility men. So that's the back half of your lineup. Of course, we are worried when we're trying to get as many hits. What are the odds, like actual statistics? I'm talking about the actual fine data of it, that 3 great hitters can get 3 hits in a row. I'd imagine that's hard. Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, and Alec Boehm. What are the statistical odds that 3 of those get 3 hits in a row? I just think that's hard to do due to the nature of the sport. Now factor in that being Garrett Stubbs, Johan Rojas, and Whit Merrifield. That number shrinks even more to a number that I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know it, honestly, because it would make me puke. But that's what we're getting. You're right about the pitching. The pitching has to somewhat be the cornerstone. And maybe on a random night where your offense is there for you as you score 7 runs, you could pick up the slack for the pitching. But from a more focused on the 1,000-foot view, yes, the starting pitching has to somewhat wear the backpack and carry the unit. They've been carrying the unit all year, so maybe that's just part of how great they are of a baseball team, but even more so now until you get some firepower back. All right, I'd be lying if I told you my mind wasn't still on the Sixers, so that was me breaking it all down, thinking about what's going to happen with Daryl Morey. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate it. I'll catch you all on the next one.